Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's indeed a proud privilege to come to Kashmir yet once again, and of course to Chinar Kaur and this very familiar hall. And of course, it's also a very proud privilege to see some very familiar faces in the crowd here. I am thankful to General Pandey, GOC Chinar Kaur, as also to General Shukla, a friend for over 3 decades, whom you just had the pleasure of listening to from Shimla, for organizing this event and giving a chance to discuss something which is very relevant to Kashmir and the subcontinent in general. As the subject, General Shukla talked about history in great detail, a very deep history of very rich culture, traditions of Kashmir. I'll restrict myself to the theme, that history of last 30 years, and with little editorial independence. I would go back and talk about history of 31 years, 9 months, and about 1 day to be precise, as on date. And I'm talking of not a history which I read, I'm not talking of history which I heard, I'm talking of not a folklore or not a grandma's version. I'm talking of a history which I have been witness to. And the date I'm talking is 19th January 1990. I was a young captain in North Kashmir in district Kupwara, not deployed on the line of control, but in the hinterland. I have seen the happenings of that day, few days prior, and some days later. And of course, 31 years which have passed by. Now, in any conflict or in any disagreement or in any area where ideas don't match, there is a percentage of population which is acted against. There is a percentage of population which acts against that population. They are in single digit. A single digit population was prosecuted. A single digit population, or if you add their sympathizers and all, may merely make it to few percents. They prosecuted the atrocities. Now, 85 to 90% of the silent majority, so-called silent majority, where were they? Where were they on 19th of January 1990? Where were they in 2010? Where were they in 2016? And I can count n number of dates in the history. And where were they in the month of October 2021? Or where are they? They, the silent majority, otherwise are very loud voices at times. And we can name them. But where were they in the history of Kashmir? That is my first point. And what happened on 19th of January 1990? And thereafterward, who suffered? Kashmiri Pandits were made to leave the country or leave the state of Jammu and Kashmir, as very well elaborated by the Chinar Kaur commander just now. What happened? It's not the Kashmiri Pandits who left. A portion of soul of Kashmir left. एक आत्मा का हिस्सा निकल गया. Kashmiri Pandits were the mainstay of education system in Kashmir, and we all know it. Starting from primary teachers to vice chancellors, the deans, the professors, and everyone in the education system was mainly a Kashmiri Pandit. And in any society where education is broken down, the future of that society, the future of those generations breaks down. What happened in 89-90 when the terrorism started? The first casualties were the schools. They were burned down. I witnessed so many of them having been burned down. There used to be wooden schools, wooden buildings those days. Why? The people who were doing it, they did not want the education system to come into the Kashmiri society, which otherwise was very educated, very intellectual, very intelligent. They are artisans, they are Sufis, they are poets. They wanted to crush the spirit of Kashmiriyat. And that is how this whole thing started about 31 years ago. Now, coming down to who is to be blamed. As I keep going, who suffered, who is to blame, and do we need to continue with it? Now, who suffered? I said education system suffered. the young child suffered, the parents whose child could not get good education suffered, the grandparents whose grandchild could not get a good job because of bad education and lack of opportunities because of the terrorism, they suffered. And this young boy who got married and had children and the grandchildren later, the next generation suffered. And they are suffering still. So who's to blame? Is a normal Kashmiri to be blamed? Did the Kashmiri Pandits suffer alone? Did the local Kashmiri suffer alone? Who suffered? The society suffered, the Kashmiriyat suffered, the very base and root of Kashmir suffered. The Jan Shukla was talking about 5,094 years. That suffered. And since there was a disturbance in the state, the infrastructure, you must see things in totality. 1990 was the year when the Indian economy opened up to the world economy. The benefits of global economy, the global business, the multinational corporations, the interlinking of the countries, world becoming a global city, and the economic benefits which accrued started off in sometime around 1990. And that is the time when Kashmir started this season of terrorism. So Kashmir lost out on that opportunity when everyone in India and the world was gaining the benefits of globalization, economic development. Now here was a society, here was a place which lost out on that opportunity. And as a result, which I talked about, the children, the job creations, the employment opportunities, the business, the economy suffered. Now, 2011 census puts the population of Jammu and Kashmir below 30 years at 62%. I suppose today we are in 2021, it would have been somewhere around 66, 67%. What does it mean? It means the 66% of the population is below 30 years. That means they are the children who are born during this conflict time. The children of conflict. They have been born and brought up during the gun culture. They have been born and brought up during the Bandh, strikes, hartals, curfews, crackdowns. They have grown with a scar on their psyche. They have grown through the radicalization, they have grown through the propaganda, they have grown as small kids being told or a particular thing being interpreted in a particular manner. So their reasoning is affected or clouded by the 30 years of their lifespan. Now what do you expect these children, who are the 66% of the population today, to see reason as any other child of the world? So there is a problem there. So we need to understand, when we talk to a Kashmiri of 30 years and below, he has a issue because he has been brought up in that society. He has been brought up in those conditions. And we need to understand his psychology also, or his psyche also. Agriculture, horticulture, fruits, apples, saffron, walnuts, almonds, other fruits is the mainstay of Kashmir. Now in 2019, when the apples were burned down, when the truckers who came from the other side of Banhal, they were shot down. Now what was it like? In one of the interactions earlier, I gave this example. What is a farmer's biggest asset? A farmer will put his son outside in the snow and rain, but he would make sure that his crop is protected. A farmer nurtures his crop for 6 months like a child. And when the crop is at the peak of harvesting, and then someone comes and burns it down, it's like killing a young child in front of the parents. That's what happened in 2019. When the apples were burned down, the truckers were killed. And that's happening again now. So we need to understand, we are being attacked at the very root of the society. May it be education, may it be business, may it be a livelihood. And who is doing it? Anyone who's killing my child, anyone who is destroying my crop, anyone who's not letting my child study, is definitely not a friend of mine. This has to be understood by a common Kashmiri. Now, the other point is, the mainstay of a young Kashmiri today is tourism. May it be yatra, may it be trekking, may it be skiing in Gulmarg, may it be, your artisans, the carpets, the carving, the paper mache, or the dry fruits. The tourists come, they bring development, they bring economy, they bring in the foreign currency or the Indian currency, as the case may be. So if the peace is not there, we have seen seasons where there have been no tourists. Today I am telling you, when I was booking my flight about 20 days ago, the rate was here. And when I was finally booked it about 3 days ago, the rate was here. Because of what happened in last few days. The hotel bookings have got cancelled, the flight bookings have got cancelled because nobody is wanting to come to Kashmir because of the type of terror which has happened, killing of innocents in the past few days. Now, if there is no hotel booking, if there is no tourists coming to buy stuff from a shop, if there is no tourists coming to sit in a sumo or on a pony, then who is suffering? That is the question we have to ask. These killings are against the common Kashmiri who is suffering because the tourists are not coming. And I'm just giving one example. We have to introspect on these aspects. Human rights, the topic is a very, very wide subject and that can be discussed. I'm sure the various speakers will, but I'm touching the basic issues. Everyone feels that terrorism or being a terrorist is probably, what's happening here. People who have traveled abroad have seen this, how the airport checks happen, how you are demeaned, and being called a Paki in the Western world is an abuse. So do you want to become a society like that, where you are called a name, but it's an abuse? Are we heading that way? Do we need to go that way? We have a 5,000 plus rich history, which is peaceful coexistence, Kashmiriyat, Insaniyat, Sufiyat. Are we headed that way where someone calls you and you take it as an abuse? Do you want someone calling you a Kashmiri? Are you a Kashmiri and you think it's an offense? So please be very clear what's happening. And again, I'll be just taking one more minute. In this whole game, like I said, why is this silent majority silent? Why is the silent majority not exerting itself? We are a democratic country. We have a right to dissent. We have a right to express our feelings. Then why on this, the selective amnesia happens when there is a terrorist killing? If that man is not speaking, or man or woman is not speaking for this, a Kashmiri should say, you have lost the right to speak, so please don't speak on any subject later. Because you did not speak at that time, I will not listen to you now. Then things will become right. You cannot come on a selective date and start speaking. In the end, I will again sum it up and say who is to blame and who is the loser. The loser is a Kashmiri wife. Loser is a Kashmiri mother. The Kashmiri mother, I'll dwell a little more. Kashmiri mother whose child could not go to proper school, whose child is not getting proper education, whose child, because was pushed into a madrasa and was being indoctrinated, joined the rank and file of some tanzeem and lost his life within a day or 1 year. That Kashmiri mother's grief also has to be understood. The system which came into being after 90s took her son away, either by not giving him a proper education or a proper job later, or by he joining a tanzeem and getting killed in some encounter somewhere. Either way, the grief of that mother stems from the rot of terrorism. And we need to address that as a society. Thank you, gentlemen. Jai Hind.